Welcome back to the British and Irish Pro League, where we can't promise that we'll get down to double last chance at the very end of every match, especially not with it having a player stop in the middle of the second last round in order to make it happen. But we can promise that the action will continue to be high octane, very exciting, and also now from Div 1 as we head up to our first Div 1 match of the night. It's Jizzy.
What? You did not just say
Actually, I'm never living it down. We just go back to break. Yeah, that's... Welcome back to the British and Irish Pro League, where we head up to Div 1, the first time that we have said that tonight, and it's going to be Jorday, Whizzy, Matt and Epos. Orion, it should be a great match.
Yeah. Oh god, I can't believe you just said that. I'm just in awe. That is the best.
I need to sleep more.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, okay. Let's talk about this match. That was funny, but let's talk about this match, right? Epos and Whizzy are probably going to be the main two protagonists here, right? Jorday, I think, is a dark horse, you know, could maybe take some points off Epos and Whizzy. Whizzy, in week 2, we watched him play, and he didn't have... I mean, he won his match, okay? But did not look comfortable for some parts. And on the interview afterwards, even kind of said, yep, I made some mistakes, wasn't having a great day, still managed to come out on top. But you can't really do that against Epos. Like, Epos always has a good day. At least I've never really seen him have a bad day yet. MattT, I would say, is probably the underdog in this match. Currently, if I check the leaderboards...
Yeah, Matt is currently in 10th place, tied with N7, Nobody Floyd, and then obviously MattT.
He's tied with himself?
Yes. That's how this works.
Yes. But I mean... So what's your prediction, finishing order? Do you think Whizzy beats Epos here, or do you think Epos kind of continues his dominance of British and Irish Trackmania? Obviously, BIPC Season 2 winner. What do you think Whizzy can do up against him?
It is... Look, it's... Last week saw our top 4 seeds collide for the first time in matches, and Whizzy had the misfortune, maybe, of being up against Bozbaz first in that. All of our top 4 seeds were undefeated heading into week 3. It was Whizzy and Epos... sorry, no, it was Whizzy and... Oh, my brain is shut down around. It was Whizzy and Hendo who ended up dropping to the other top 2 seeds in those matches as well. Epos managing to come out on top, came in as 2nd seed. And Epos had a rough time of it, but I'm not sure it's going to get any better this week, is what that boils down to. I think Epos has been looking absolutely wonderful so far throughout the course of competition, and I honestly kind of expect that to continue in this match.
Yeah, as you say, Boz and Epos, the only 2 players undefeated so far. Hendo and Whizzy tied for joint 3rd place on 11 points. So... Whizzy will really want to beat Epos here, because then that would put him into potentially a clear 3rd place over Hendo, depending on the result of that match later. That will be on stream. But I think we're already seeing in these first 2 rounds a pattern emerge here, as Whizzy and Epos both driving insanely fast, insanely consistent, and both matching each other. Whizzy having a bit of a slower last turn, which allows Epos to open up a gap, and does get a great round time in there. 57.6 as well. How close is that to the world record? That is
about 3/10 away.
Within 3/10, yeah. And I mean, Whizzy's PB 57.5 as well. So he's driving within a 10th of Whizzy's PB. Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
It's pretty absurd. These are the best of the best in Div 1, and I mean, these top 4 matchups are, you know, I think kind of what we were all excited for coming into the season as well, and the fact that all of the top 4 went undefeated up until they started facing each other as well with week 3, and will continue to do so now week 3, 4, and 5. Kind of proved that, yeah, like, these guys do need the respect that they earned with those top 4 seeding places as well. It'll continue in this match too for a little while. MattT and Jorday just trying to hold on for dear life at the moment. MattT with a mistake in the last round and a little bit of one in the first round as well. Has lost the full 20 points across 2 rounds so far. Jorday is kind of just cruising in 3rd place at the moment. Which, I mean, honestly, for Jorday, might be best case scenario over the course of this match.
Yeah, I think Jorday is like already looking like a clear 3rd place favorite because Whizzy, I was wondering what Whizzy we would get because when we watched him in week 2, oh, never mind, I've just cursed him. Sorry about that, mate. In week 2, Whizzy came out of the blocks and lost the first 2 rounds. That just kind of shocked me particularly, and I imagine everyone else watching because that's just kind of not what we expect from him. But I was just about to say, looks to be settled in, dialed in, and comfortable, and pretty much matching Epos, but then has a crash on the very final corner, and there you go. That is last place for Whizzy, and the gap to Epos opens, who has only lost a total of 4 points so far, once again driving within a tenth of Whizzy's PB in rounds. Just exceptional. Epos never ceases to amaze me when I'm watching him drive rounds. Does find himself in last place at the moment, though. Jorday having a better round as well, keeping up with the likes of Whizzy, but you can see Epos just coming into the picture now. Does get the overtake done on Jorday, but is he able to catch Whizzy, who is about 2 tenths ahead of the rest of the field?
It's going to be tough, and maybe doable, because Whizzy will make the mistake one more time, and this is maybe the issue, right? Epos has been banging in those times over and over that are within a tenth. Jorday nearly managing to catch up that time. But Whizzy is driving on the edge completely, round after round, because Epos is just there in terms of pace, is at the limit of what Whizzy can drive in time attack. And that's catching up a little bit, unfortunately, with Whizzy, as we're seeing big mistakes in back-to-back rounds, dropping a long way away from first place, and all of a sudden Epos, with only 1 map driven, is already nearly 20 points clear of every other driver in the match.
Yeah, Whizzy knows in the back of his mind, or probably in the front of his mind, to be honest, that Epos is going to be his main rival here. Like, we're talking about for potential top 4 finish overall, it's going to be between Whizzy and Epos. But in doing so and in pushing so hard to try and beat Epos, the mistakes are coming through. And as we go on to our second map, Jorday is actually ahead of Whizzy on 98, and MattT not too far behind on 86 either. But we'll see how Manifest treats all of these players. I'm once again expecting Epos to just be setting blistering times, as we know him for. And we'll see once again if Whizzy can keep up.
Ooh, stat.
Jorday, most consistent last time out in that opening 4 rounds with a standard deviation of 0.155, Epos 0.2, and MattT had an issue, so it was 1.4, Whizzy with a 0.6.
Is that on time? So, like,
yes.
1.5,
yes,
a tenth and a half, yeah?
Yeah,
okay.
Which, I mean, kind of is Jorday's job right now, right? Is hope that Whizzy beats himself a little bit, just continue to drive solid, consistent times, and trust that Whizzy is trying so hard to take the fight to Epos that he kind of loses the run of it a little bit and ends up dropping a ways down the leaderboard, and Jorday can take full advantage.
Well, first round on Manifest, we'll see. The outside dirt caught a few players out in Div 2, but all 4 getting through cleanly at the first time of asking in the first round here. Already, Epos and Whizzy with a good start, but Jorday, that's a lovely drift. Does have to release, though, which allows MattT to come back through, but a bit of a wobble from MattT. Jorday back up into 3rd place. Whizzy and Epos inseparable at the front once again. Very similar story to the first map, but we'll see if it holds water as we go on to the second half in this first round on Manifest.
Is still so close. Whizzy, though, a little bit closer to the wall there. Had to readjust on the exit, and Epos opens up to about a car length in front at the moment, but that car length could vanish very quickly. Whizzy further to the left off of the jump. Epos, therefore, with a better line for this exit, but Whizzy manages to hold it anyway. Excellent turn from Whizzy towards the end. It'll be so close. Down to the finish. Epos drove slightly less ground to get there and picks up a round win. Whizzy off by 17 thousandths.
Well, if this is what we've got in store, then I am very, very excited for the next 10 to 12 rounds, driving within 200ths of each other. And they were pretty much there for the whole map. There was no big gains and comebacks. It was just clean, consistent, both driving about 0.3 off the world record. And they both have very similar times. I mean, I think Epos on the older version of the map drove a 0.1, same as Boz. But as things stand right now, they are only separated by 13 thousandths in terms of PB time, as MattT making a big mistake. There's 3 cars still in it. Jorday actually in second place this time. Whizzy has dropped about 0.2 to Epos, but does now get back in front of Jorday. So we'll see if Jorday can really push the pace and challenge, because I would say on Jorday's best rounds, yes, he's probably up there with Whizzy and Epos, but Whizzy and Epos just seem to be able to kind of drive what are likely to be Jorday's best times pretty much every round.
Yeah, I mean, Jorday has a PB on the map at the moment after the update of a 106, which is incredible. Hang on a second. Whizzy and Epos will not pip him to the line. It was Epos down by 9 thousandths at the very end. These rounds continue to deliver incredibly close matches. And Jorday, I mean, look, that's pretty much exactly what I was about to say. Jorday has an incredible PB of a 1 minute 0.6 after the update, with the unfortunate thing being that Epos and Whizzy have both got times of 1 minute and 0.3 each. They're both just about 0.3 faster than Jorday on a good round, and that was exactly what happened there. Both of them within 9 thousandths of each other, and Jorday just about 0.3 down, even on an excellent run.
Yeah, I mean, both of them there then drove Jorday's PB. They both drove a 1 minute
exactly.
0.6.
Yeah.
And Jorday 0.3 behind is probably thinking, I've just driven an absolutely stonking run in rounds, 0.3 behind my PB, and I'm third.
Yep.
It must be very disheartening, but, also, I guess you kind of just got to look at the time and think, I'm only, my maximum is 0.3 faster than this. I don't know. It's very bittersweet feeling for Jorday, I can imagine.
And again, there comes a point where you kind of question, like, well, is it worth pushing to get the best time possible, trying to hit my PB, or do I just play it a little bit safer and hope for the mistake like that from Epos, with Jorday then in position to capitalize. Whizzy going to pick up an uncontested round win here. Jorday behind with pretty much the same time as last time around, managing to even improve slightly down to a 1 minute 0.9 again. And Epos, just with the mistake, pushes Jorday up. So yeah, Jorday doing the job, right? Sitting in position to capitalize on mistakes as Whizzy and Epos just continue to bang in incredible times.
Yeah, a 1 minute 0.5 from Whizzy. That is 0.13 faster than Epos has driven so far. So Whizzy seems to be in his element on this map. I don't think we've seen a major mistake from Whizzy, or maybe a small mistake from Epos there, which put him third. But yeah, Whizzy has not made a mistake so far. Slightly compromised line there, and he's going to be a bit slow through the dirt. Jorday makes the mistake and allows MattT to come up into third place as we go on board with the top 3. But Whizzy actually looks to have a very slim advantage on this track over Epos.
I mean, even a slim advantage can be turned into a relatively big one in terms of the points on the leaderboard, and could be capitalized later on, because it does feel like it'll be Whizzy and Epos battling down at the end of things on this match. So having one map at the very least where Whizzy can really take the fight to Epos could be very important. We'll keep that in the back of our heads for later on. At the moment, Whizzy will pick up another round win. The time is a 1 minute 0.9, a little bit of a slower round, still an incredibly quick one, and Epos is a 10th behind. That is a round where Epos could have capitalized on a slightly slower time from Whizzy. We know that he can drive fast on that, but Whizzy still just holds those leads and will pick up, I think, third round win on the map.
Yeah, it's opening up quite a gap between Whizzy and Epos and Jorday and MattT, though MattT already below the 50-point mark, just hasn't seemed to be able to match the pace and consistency of Jorday, who is looking for a solid third place, but might be a dark horse, because, Jorday will probably end up in third place with maybe, I don't know, 20 or so points remaining. And if Whizzy and Epos just continue to push each other, and the mistakes have been rare, but if they do start to come through, Jorday will be surviving those last chances if he gets there. and could actually end up finding himself in a second place here if Epos and Whizzy aren't careful.
I mean, here we are onto Liberty as well, seeing these players drive this map in competition for the first time in a little while. Whizzy a little bit rough through the middle there, but it's warm up and we'll wait and see how things shake out in the actual rounds. We did see, particularly in the previous match, this following turn, or the finish was pretty rough. There was the sausage turn in the middle, was the other area to kind of keep your eye on, as somewhere players were making mistakes. And in general, of course, around gears. A lot of gears at the start of the map.
I mean, I feel like Div 1 players will probably hold on to those a bit better than the Division 2 players. Like, the outside dirt turns will be better. The gears will be held throughout those turns. So, potentially not as many gear issues, but the map is still difficult, right? I'm just wondering who it's going to favor more, if anyone, between Epos and Whizzy. Because Epos looked like he was the better player on Clueless. Manifest looked like it belonged to Whizzy. Who does this map belong to?
We'll find out pretty soon. It'll probably take a few rounds to actually figure it out with any level of confidence. And at the moment, Epos has the slimmest of leads over Whizzy, but Jorday right back into the mix, and Whizzy just a little bit slower. Jorday finding more grip through that middle section means that he has held on to second place for the time being. This turn onto the sausage, it's very easy to get a little bit of airtime, and there is Jorday getting that small little bit of airtime and losing time out to Whizzy, who climbs back into second place as Epos just holds on to that lead. Stable driving, steady driving up front, keeping the car out of the wall, and only a couple of turns left to go as Epos looks to win the first round here on Liberty. Whizzy will make the mistake, clips a final pole. Jorday takes second. Whizzy will still take third, but it was close.
Takes third, but by the skin of his teeth. Looked good for second, but yeah, ultimately that finish is, you do have to thread the needle a bit. What was that time from Epos as well? Was that, what, 55.2? World record is a 54.8. So once again, driving... I know you've got a stat, but I'm finishing my sentence. Driving within 4/10 of the world record. What is your stat, Thomas?
That was Whizzy's first.
Actually, I don't think I want to know it. That's,
that was the first time Whizzy here came third. Prior to that, he only came first or second or last. So...
No, it's nice to diversify your holdings or something. I don't know. This is not financial advice or whatever. Whizzy and Epos will be neck and neck until Whizzy makes another mistake. So the question of who is this map going to favor? Who does this one give the edge to in the battle between Epos and Whizzy? So far, pretty clearly Epos is the answer, Orion. Yeah,
I have to say Whizzy making more mistakes on this map. Like, he was consistently on pace with Epos to the point where their ghosts literally looked identical for most of the map. MattT with a mistake, though. Jorday into the finish. Can Whizzy get there as well? Not quite. Whizzy much further behind. And that is a very painful 10 points to lose for Whizzy, who looked like he was just starting to get closer to Epos again while we are on Manifest. But two pretty horrendous rounds in a row actually puts him within touching distance of Jorday here.
Yeah, Jorday, again, maybe not there on Manifest, but Clueless and Liberty are both kind of giving hints that maybe Jorday is going to still be there for the battle for second place in this match. At the moment, Epos uncontested out in first place, well clear of anyone else, 26 points away from Whizzy. Whizzy with a better start this time around, still alongside Epos, and it's Epos who makes the mistake. A very small clip, shouldn't have lost too much from that, is down about half a second. Jorday holding on to second place once again and doing what we asked him to, which is be there to capitalize on the mistakes.
Yep, one of only two mistakes that I can recall that Epos has made so far, but that clip then cost him a gear as well. So Whizzy in prime position to get a win, which he so desperately needs after losing two in a row. But Epos, after that mistake from Jorday, might benefit here and get back up into second. Jorday really pushing the finish, having to release. Oh, Whizzy did clip the finish there in some capacity. Didn't see how, but just manages to sneak in front of Epos. But yeah, would have hoped that Jorday could have finished in front there. MattT bleeds another 10 points down to only 22. So I think it's looking likely that MattT will be the first player to drop. Can Jorday get himself back in it? And if Whizzy continues to make mistakes, that will remain to be seen. But Epos has definitely opened up a bit more of a gap to Whizzy on this map.
And it's maybe not been massively surprising that Liberty feels like the map that the players are least practiced on, given that it hasn't been in the weekly rotation for a few weeks now. You know, this is our first time actually seeing it since the seeding event. But there is a lot more mistakes on this map over the course of both matches that we've seen today than on the other two tracks. And it is really starting to show which players are maybe able to adjust a little bit quicker on the fly, even if everyone comes in kind of making the mistakes. Some people are cleaning that up. Some people are still struggling as we go back around a second time. And at the moment, Epos looking like the slightly more practiced player. Jorday at the back has made another mistake on the track. MattT sitting in third place, trying to hold on to every point possible. And Epos looking pretty clean to take a round win.
Yeah, it's strange, though, because you would think that this would be one of the most played maps, given that it was played in time attack as well.
Rust,
for the
you don't play for a few weeks.
Yeah, I guess Rust. Yeah, that is very true. I mean, this track hasn't been touched for what three or 4 weeks, and so players just picking it up again now. That is our first 4 rounds, and honestly, that map belonged to Epos even more so than Clueless did, which is the map that we go on to now. Whizzy definitely looked like he could match the pace of Epos, but did not have the same level of consistency, made much bigger mistakes, and I believe actually lost 2 rounds out of 4 when we were on this map before, and it was only on Manifest that he was able to close the gap once again.
Yeah, you are absolutely right. 2 of those rounds, 4th place for Whizzy, and overall, those 4th places in general across the entire map pack as we rotate back to our first have been the difference maker between Epos and Whizzy. Epos has made some mistakes, but overall has the most first place finishes and has a very high proportion of second place finishes when he doesn't. It is 58% first and 33% seconds at the moment for Epos, whereas Whiskey still very high, nearly at the 50% win rate on rounds as well, really contesting Epos up there, but has a few 4th place finishes, a couple more 3rd places than Epos as well, and it is just making the difference that Whizzy is not recovering as well from early mistakes.
Well, the gap between Epos and Whizzy as things stand is 26 points. Gap between Whizzy and Jorday is also 26 points, if my maths is correct. Would you look at that? So, what way does Whizzy go here? Does he continue to try and fight Epos, or is that a losing battle at this point? Does he just try and conserve that second place and make sure that Jorday is not allowed into the equation? What would you do right now if you were Whizzy?
I think you have to push it. Epos's point total just looks too healthy. And we're still on 4 players. If Epos can continue to just pick up firsts and, you know, Whizzy backs off the throttle a little bit, kind of just makes sure that he picks up those second places over Jorday, Epos is still going to be on 97 points when we drop to 3 players, is potentially still going to be on about 70 to 80 points when we drop down to 2. It's just too much of a risk for Whizzy to try and give up, to just sack it a little bit here, unless you're happy to settle for second place overall and just, you know, deny Jorday any chance at getting that. And we're seeing it. Whizzy is just going to continue to push it, right? Like, I mean, you kind of wouldn't expect anything less. As much fun as it is to say, like, well, what's the correct strategy? These players are going to drive as fast as they can 99% of the time in rounds.
I mean, yeah, that is Epos's well-known strategy of driving, just full send it and hope it sticks. And honestly, 90% of the time it does. He seems to have a much better ending to Whizzy as well. They are inseparable throughout the map. And then it's just the exit of that outside dirt. I don't know what Epos is doing differently. It doesn't look too different, but he just pulls out a 10th on that exit. And Whizzy, after being so close and definitely being in contention, right at the end of the map, just falls away slightly from Epos, who gets yet another round win. We've had 13 rounds so far, and Epos has lost a total of 23 points. It just
crazy
beggars belief.
Oh, that is a rough start for Whizzy. A rougher one for MattT, who will be dropping to last chance after this round. Epos will attempt to go to space as well, but is going to get overtaken by Whizzy, potentially MattT as well, but Matt is still a very long way down the track, and so Epos will hold on to 3rd place for the time being. It will be a first point loss in a while for Epos, is what this looks like.
Yep, but Whizzy will be very thankful of that. I think he's too far away from Jorday to really try and make the push and bring the gap down anymore, but
Jorday will crash, don't worry.
No, don't say that. we want a dark horse story. We like Jorday to get the
I
points.
did it.
Oh, he actually crushed the finish as well. But wait, did he make it? Yeah, he did make
He
it.
did,
Okay.
yeah, he did. Yeah,
Okay,
totally fine.
okay.
I was just calling my shot. I didn't really think Jorday was going to crash, and I certainly wasn't trying to will it into existence for the sake of drama.
That's cap.
It's a little bit cap. You're absolutely right. But big news. Epos has dropped 7 more points. He just wanted the nice round number. He's down to 90 at this point, having lost exactly a quarter of his starting points. Whizzy stabilizes a little bit, but what we saw in Clueless the first time around was Epos kind of pretty continually driving times that were very close to Whizzy's PB. And Whizzy crashing a lot, trying to just keep up. Maybe an issue here again as we go back around on Clueless a second time, with the difference being that Epos made a larger mistake in the previous round. Once again, they are so close to each other. Whizzy is going to have to full send it through the rest of the track in order to try and beat Epos out, and it is working. That's a very nice turn from Whizzy to regain the lead at the moment. Epos coming through with speed. It's Epos who makes the touch, and now Whizzy safely in the lead. I say safely, everyone's close. Epos has touched again. MattT and Jorday the only competition for Whizzy through the final turns, who needs to just keep clean from here on out.
Yeah, Epos not having the same success this time round on Clueless, but Whizzy will be definitely appreciative of that, shall we say, as the points continue to lead. Epos, I believe that is his first time finishing 4th. Was that the stat you were going to give me? Yeah, go on.
So Epos has finished 4th once. He has finished 3rd twice, so double the amount. He's finished 2nd 4 times, so double the amount again. And he has finished 1st 8 times, double the amount again. Nice little end series there.
Well, he's just going to ruin that wherever he finishes in this round, isn't he?
It's time
If
to
he
DNFs.
DNFs.
It's the only option. And maybe we end up with 16 more rounds, and if he's DNF'd all of them, then I don't know. We hit those numbers. I don't think it's likely. I think instead we're going to see another win added to the tally, especially with Whizzy being the player to make the big mistake early on in this round. Epos has dropped to 80 and looks to go no further, as he is in the lead on this one. Jorday in 2nd place. MattT at least safe from elimination in this round, having dropped to last chance with Whizzy behind. Should be able to hold on to this one, but Matt has been struggling a little bit with outside dirt and goes very safe through that one as a result. This next one coming through has seen a couple of touches from Matt over previous rounds, and very safe again, and maybe too safe, as Whizzy will be approaching with speed through the final turn all the way to the finish line. It'll go, and Matt will just about stay alive. That was something smaller than is measured on the scoreboard.
Yep, it's in the thousands, but just carries enough speed to stave off Whizzy. Whizzy with a big -10 there. Still, the gap to Epos remains. And as the points bleed down, it's looking less and less likely. Although we do go on to what I would call Whizzy's best map at this point, Manifest. PB is definitely within the reach of Epos, whereas it's about 2/10 between them on other maps. And Whizzy, I would say won what? I want to say 3 out of 4 rounds. At a guess.
You are correct. 3 out of 4 and a 2nd place finish in the other one. I believe lost by 17 thousandths to Epos in the round that he didn't win. So you're right. Incredibly impressive performance by Whizzy on our last outing here on Manifest. And at this point, Orion, it needs to be the same again, right? It needs to be equally impressive from Whizzy, because MattT also very likely to go out early on this map, I think, at this point, unfortunately, which means that even first places are going to be losing you points from here on out. Whizzy, if he doesn't start to close the gap to Epos here on Manifest, I think it's probably safe to start calling it, to say that, yeah, this is over for Whizzy, that Epos is going to pick up the win and head into week 5 undefeated.
I don't want to call it that early, but
it does feel early, but this was the map that Whizzy was winning on, and if Whizzy can't do it again, we head back to Liberty, where things look rough for Whizzy. If we're being honest with ourselves, things look rough for Whizzy.
Yeah, Whizzy kind of needs to win 3 rounds again and avoid last place at all costs. And I mean, with MattT dropping out as well, last place is going to be, let's say, a lot easier to find yourself in than it perhaps has in previous rounds. But we'll see how things pan out. You never know. But yeah, once we get back to Liberty, that's where I start to worry for Whizzy. But we've got 4 rounds until we get there. So yeah, we'll see if he can beat out Epos, who currently has a lead of about a 10th. But yeah, not over in this round just yet, as we are about at the halfway mark.
And Jorday was competitive here last time around as well, but that meant driving very, very good rounds, while 2 rivals drove absolutely stunning rounds. And it looks to be pretty similar here once again. Jorday has dropped a little ways behind. Whizzy jumps very far to the left on that jump and will stay behind Epos, but it's only just. Epos looking to carry this one all the way through to the line. MattT in 4th place is going to be eliminated, as up front Epos drives a 1 minute and 4 tenths. That's stupid.
That's a time. That is a time. What did Whizzy drive that round?
About a tenth slower.
Two tenths
slower.
behind. 1 minute point 6, which is still
what
a
Whizzy was driving
time,
last time. Exactly. It's just that Epos has gone 2 tenths faster now.
Madness. Genuine madness. And I mean, that is what, within a tenth?
Within a tenth.
And a bit of world record?
Yeah, I think it was a mid 4.4, so yeah, it was just over a tenth.
I do not think Epos liked me saying that this map belonged to Whizzy.
Has taken it absolute. No, this map belongs to Jorday. See, it's it's all over for Epos and Whizzy. Has had enough of these guys driving 1 minute 4s, 1 minute 6s in general, and is definitely going to win this round. Is at least holding on to this lead for a little while, but you can see Epos creeping up behind. A little bit rough at the end of the plastic there. Whizzy doing a better job of finding the exit line on that one, but not so much on the drift afterwards, and that is disastrous for Whizzy, who is about to lose 9 points that he really can't afford to lose.
Well, Jorday does look to be finishing first. There was a mistake from Epos, which I didn't see, but it's put him about a second behind. So Jorday does pick up a round win with a 1 minute 8. Great time for him. Very respectable. Whizzy, though, -9 in this round. Is Jorday out of reach? I don't know. It really depends on Whizzy's consistency, you know.
Yeah.
If multiple 3rd places in a row, if Jorday is actually able to pick up the pieces, possibly even challenge Epos, it could go downhill very quickly for Whizzy.
And look, what we said is that if Whizzy doesn't do very well on Manifest here, this match might start to be out of reach.
Yeah.
But Whizzy may kind of be feeling the same thing and needs to be very careful to not kind of let the second place slip away as well, just by kind of, you know, giving up the fight against Epos a little bit. Does still need to close things out against Jorday, who is far behind, but it's 19 points, and really that's only a couple of 3rd places to drop down, and Whizzy would be in a bit of trouble then. Is driving a very strong round here on our 3rd round on Manifest. This is really what we wanted to see from Whizzy in the first 2 rounds, so it's showing up now, but needs to keep it clean all the way to the end. Plenty of areas left to make mistakes, keeps it out of the wall on the drift. It's Epos who will touch on the wall. Jorday through into 2nd place again, looking to pick up when an opponent makes a mistake and gain some points back. Whizzy is still only just in front. Jorday maybe trying to catch, but the entry into the plastic leaves him a little bit wide. Whizzy with a round win will do the 1.6 again. Jorday a 10th behind, driving a pretty consistent 1.8 time, and Epos will take 3rd and lose those 9 points, still feeling comfortable.
Yeah, Jorday really is Mr. Consistent, putting in those times. It just so happens that his opponents are just putting in even faster times. But Epos with a mistake in one round, Whizzy with a mistake in another, has allowed Jorday to spare and save himself some points. Currently on 15, gap to Whizzy 23, and then gap from Whizzy to Epos is 27. So they are quite spread out. I feel like it could end like this. You know, Epos seems to have the better of Whizzy. If and when Jorday goes on to last chance and drops out, Whizzy will be losing his points even faster. I don't know. I feel like the order that they're in now will be the order this finishes, but everything could just suddenly catch fire and flip on its head. You never know.
Yeah. That is the beauty of live Trackmania esports, right? Is that, yeah, we know the pace these players can drive. When you're at this level, Div 1 level, a lot of them are hitting that pace very consistently. But right at the end, when the pressure starts to pour on, things get a little bit messy sometimes. And Whizzy will drive a 1 minute 0.5 again, proving that the pace is still there, that the pace is very good, but that is goodbye to Manifest again, and that may be near the last time we see it. If we see it again, it's probably going to be close to double last chance between Whizzy and Epos, which means Whizzy delighted to get back here, I think, but for the moment, it is just a time to fight for survival as we go back to Liberty.
Yeah, Whizzy did not look comfortable at all on Liberty last time out. Like, we've seen him driving consistently with Epos within about a tenth or so, like plus or minus. This map, I would say, was the biggest gap between them, and Epos looked the most comfortable by quite some margin. So it won't be decided on Liberty, but potentially, if Whizzy has a bit of a nightmare, could find himself on last chance by the end of it or by the first round once we go back onto Clueless.
Jorday is going to be fighting for his life. I don't think it's a bad thing for Jorday that this is happening on Liberty, given that this has been the most error-prone map for all of the players. Just looking at the number of crashes, MattT, obviously now eliminated from this match, crashed every single round here. Jorday did crash on 3 of the 4 rounds here. Whizzy crashed on 2 of the 4, and Epos crashed on 1 of the 4. So, in general, the amount of rounds where one of his opponents crashed was higher than on the previous matches. It's up to Jorday to clean up some of those mistakes and do what he's been doing on the other maps, which is just keep things a little bit clean and look to capitalize on those mistakes.
Yep. Well, Jorday can avoid last chance here if he finishes, I believe, is it second as well? Does he survive?
First, second would drop him exactly to last chance, unfortunately.
Okay, that's what,
so needs to win.
Which, don't think that's going to happen. He's already about 3/10 or so behind after a bit of a wobble at the start. Whizzy just eking out a lead over Epos. Everyone getting that outside dirt turn nice and cleanly as we go up onto the plastic. All players holding that gear. Jorday not driving quite as cleanly as Whizzy, and Epos in front. Is Epos going to be able to catch up to Whizzy? This would be quite a statement here if Whizzy is able to get around him, because he did not look good on this map before relative to Epos. So it could do wonders for his confidence here if he can actually beat Epos in the opening round.
Yeah, Whizzy keeping it clean so far. Car not finding any of the walls, and into the last turn we go. Keep it clean through the poles and across the finish line for a half a tenth lead. But a half tenth lead is good enough for a -2. Epos will fall a little bit closer towards Whizzy on that one. Jorday on to last chance, and in terms of just pace, not quite there on this map. Really needs a mistake in each of the next 3 rounds, I think, from either Epos or Whizzy to be in with a shout of surviving.
Yeah, I mean, you say not quite there on pace as if that's like, you know, him driving slowly. That was within 2/10 of Whizzy's PB there in that round. So, yeah, I don't think it's a pace issue for Jorday necessarily. I just think it is Whizzy and Epos doing their thing and absolutely demolishing any other competition. But Epos has a better start this time. I did hear one player there struggling slightly with a gear on the uphill, and Whizzy into last place. Jorday, reminder, needs a good round here if he wants to survive. Goes into first place temporarily. Whizzy just behind, but Epos with a much bigger mistake. Jorday can finish in second here and still survive. Manages to avoid the wall as well. And Epos on course to lose 9 points here, unless we have another issue at the finish for Whizzy or Jorday, which we have seen happen before. Not this time, though. Epos in a rare last place, losing maximum points in this round.
Epos has lost 9 points to Whizzy over the last 2 rounds here, and if Whizzy can keep that going before we get off Liberty, it was a problem last time around. It is maybe the answer this time around. There is only 12 points between Epos and Whizzy at this point. Jorday surviving on last chance for a little while longer as well. And that's kind of best case scenario for Whizzy if Whizzy can keep holding on to the round wins, because it gives that opportunity for Epos to lose a lot more relative to Whizzy.
Yep. Epos and Whizzy with a better start again, just taking that drift a little closer to the wire, a little closer to that pole. Ekes out about a 10th at the start. Jorday with a nice outside dirt turn though. Might be able to make up some ground here. Lovely inside turn from Jorday. Actually, Whizzy put down into third. Jorday once again in the middle part of the map, looking so competitive. And can he hold on? Epos had a little bit of a wobble there over the sausage, and Jorday still in contention. Awkward line on the plastic, though. Whizzy comes through. Jorday fighting for survival. Needs a mistake from one of the two players in front. The finish might provide him with just that. Neither player lifting, both looking good for the finish. Jorday does make it, and despite driving a pretty clean round, does go out. Third place goes to Jorday, and now it is the straight fight that we thought we would probably end up with between Epos and Whizzy.
And a round win there for Epos at the end of it for Jorday as well means that that gap extended a little bit further back to Whizzy, feeling a little bit more comfortable than the previous rounds would have. If Whizzy had managed to win that one as well, it would have been, what, I think just an 8-point gap between the two players heading into this final two. As it is, it stands at, I don't know, more than that, 16 or something. Maths is too hard for me to do. And Whizzy is immediately a little bit slower off the line in this final round on Liberty. I think at this point, we kind of said it. I think Whizzy just wants to try and hold on and bring it back to Manifest, because that is his best chance of managing to take down Epos.
Yeah, but dropping maximum points is not what he wants. Epos, though, has a slower entry here. Whizzy will have more speed off the drift, but the plastic is going to equalize things once again. Epos just looks a little bit too out of reach. He gets a perfect outside dirt turn as well. As we go into the finish, Whizzy has to beg that Epos will make a mistake here. Does not look like he's going to. Great time from Epos, 55-2, within 4/10 of the world record. But that will be all she wrote on Liberty, and we will definitely not be coming back here. Back onto Clueless, where first time round, even contests. Second time round, Epos looked a lot better. Third time round, who knows?
Yeah. So far, Jorday has won a single round of the 8 that we've played here on Clueless Jorday with a full 5 wins, and then 1 in each other position, just to make things, I don't know, nice and symmetrical. Whizzy really needs to pick up a couple of wins, though. Full stop. That is how things need to go if Whizzy wants any shot at Epos over the course of the rest of this match.
Yeah, I think Whizzy pretty much at this point has to be on the multiple round wins in a row.
Yeah.
It's what, 8 points for second place at this point? Is that right?
Yeah, -8 for second place, -4 for first place, and yeah. So if there's 5 rounds in a row where Whizzy comes first, then both players hit last chance at the same time.
Yeah, correct.
And otherwise, if Epos picks up a
happen?
single round, if Epos picks up a single round at any point there, guaranteed Whizzy is going down to last chance. I believe within 3 rounds at best, assuming he manages to win 2 others. Well, 4 rounds. Look, basically, Whizzy just needs to win a lot. I'm not going to go any further into it than that. 5 rounds in a row would be great. I think we're basically assured of Whizzy ending up on last chance first, though.
I think that is going to happen. Yeah. At this point, Whizzy's only got 18 left. The gap is 20. When the gap is bigger than the total amount of points that you have remaining, it starts to look a little bit difficult. But, I mean, let's just take in these rounds. Let's just absorb it, because both players are driving at an absolutely insane level. Both of them are so close together throughout the entire duration of every single round. So let's just watch it. Let's just take it in, enjoy it for what it is. The highest level of competition that we see in the British and Irish Trackmania scene.
Well, Bozbez will be playing in the next match, so that's Whizzy also making a mistake in that round, and there goes the 5-round win streak, potentially broken before it could even begin, as Epos is streaking off into the sunset on this one. Is 7/10 ahead. Now 6/10. Whizzy closing the gap ever so slightly, but Epos is just setting up nicely for these final couple of turns and should have the round win on this one. Whizzy losing nearly half of his points total. Does not want the DNF. You still got to make it to the finish line on this one, Whizzy. It would be bad to get -12 on this round. -8 it is, and managing to stay on the platform as well. No bonus points for that, unfortunately. Epos feeling very comfortable.
Yep, Epos feeling very comfortable. Gap now 24 points. Seems insurmountable for Whizzy. I mean, the pace has definitely been there. We've seen some absolutely stunning rounds from Whizzy. But once again, Epos just refuses to crash. Like, I think it was the stat was in the first 13 rounds, he lost 23 points total, which is just absolutely unreal. Made a few mistakes after that, but ultimately, Whizzy, the slightly more inconsistent of the pair, and I think that has just ultimately been the difference maker today.
It looks like it will be. It's not over yet. It's getting very close to being so, and it is that consistency from Epos that has carried him there. Driving times that approach Whizzy's PB. Whizzy has been matching on those times, I think, is the most impressive thing as well. But when one player is driving a little bit closer to the edge, having to push just that little bit harder, they're more likely to be the player making those mistakes. And I think it is a credit to Whizzy that he's managed to match that pace so often, as is happening in this round as well. Whizzy will manage to sneak out a round win over Epos with a 57.6. Very quick indeed. I think that is Whizzy's fastest time of the evening so far on Clueless. And it's coming at a good time, is, putting a little bit of pressure on Epos at the end of this match. But Whizzy is definitely heading to last chance first, and will really, really need to try and put the pressure on then.
Yep. Gap back down to 20 points, but as we say, it's going to need multiple round wins in a row, and he's going to really have to push for them as well, because Epos is like plus or minus a tenth at all times already. In the first couple of checkpoints, Epos just over a tenth ahead, so Whizzy is going to have to claw back some time somewhere. But where is he going to find that? Does take this drift a little bit more inside. That time actually went for a more outside line, completely ruining what I was saying. Thank you for that. But it is so close. They have been inseparable all match long, and the trend continues.
Whizzy needs to find a little bit of pace here at the end, but it's Epos who's had the better end pretty much the entire way through, and Whizzy will not be able to find it. Down to last chance goes Whizzy, and unfortunately for him, still one round left on Clueless.
Yeah, that is... Well, we said Whizzy driving his best time of the evening. Epos has just done exactly the same. 57.588.
He's equal. Yeah, he's equaled his best time of the evening exactly, which is...
Oh, was it?
I think,
equal. Yeah, I didn't see it said equal. Yeah.
which is pretty absurd.
But that is also within, like, less than a tenth of Whizzy's PB.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, no, it's insanely quick. And, this is it. This is the final round. Whizzy needs to find pace now or it's never, because Epos can put him out of the competition here. If we do manage to survive this round, if we do go one more, Whizzy has looked good on Manifest, but we have to get there first, and there is maybe 30 seconds remaining from the end of this match, and a second place for Whizzy. Epos holds the lead. It is going to extend a little bit. Epos gets so close to the outside wall there, but remains a tenth ahead.
Oh, they're so close. Both players pushing so hard. Whizzy knows what's at stake. You could see just the effort that he's putting in. Gets a lovely outside dirt line. Can Epos get this back? Whizzy looking like he's going to survive for another round. Epos touches the inside. It's a 57-6 from Whizzy, and another round survived. They were inseparable the entire way, and then Epos, right at that last drift, makes the mistake. Down to 14 points here. That is 2 second places. So within 2 rounds, if Whizzy wins both of them, we could be at a double last chance and a final round to decide things. But yeah, it's going to take 2 round wins from Whizzy for us to get there.
But it's Manifest. Oh, it's Manifest. And as much as the stats favoured Epos on Clueless, as much as he had a lot of wins, Whizzy only had 1 or 2 as we went into it for that last time. Whizzy has 5 wins on Manifest from 8 rounds. Epos has 2 wins from the previous 8 rounds we played on this match. 3 round wins in a row from Whizzy. It'll be difficult. It is absolutely not out of the question.
It is not, but I am once again expecting both players to be driving similar, if not almost exactly the same time here. Epos, best time of a 1 minute 0.4. Whizzy, best time of a 1 minute 0.5. In terms of pure PB pace, Epos has driven a 1 minute 0.3. Whizzy, also a 1 minute 0.3. It's fractions of a second. It's faster than you can blink, is what separates both of these players. But as you say, Whizzy is going to have to finish that little bit in front, avoid the mistakes for 3 rounds if he wants to be victorious.
Why is the sign approaching? Oh god, we're going to get into rounds, and here we go. Whizzy needs 3 round wins in a row. The dirt at the start of this map changed coming into this week. We've not seen it catch these players out all that much, but it will catch out Epos this time around. Whizzy could pick up this first round win necessary in near uncontested fashion.
Yeah, and Whizzy will surely know that Epos has made that mistake. Generally plays with HUD off, but does flick it on just to check the splits. So we'll be able to see that plus 8 tenths from Epos and slowly cruise it home. Avoid the mistakes.
Whizzy?
What on earth has happened to Whizzy there? Looked like he drove a perfect line and somehow got a slowdown. I genuinely, I don't know what happened there. It looked safe. It looked fine.
Check the tapes. The contractors left a nail sticking out of the road on that one. Whizzy, the victim, and now behind Epos. 1 turn left. Epos will take the win in this round. Will take the win in this match. And it's a slow round for these 2 players, but Whizzy, heartbreaking, still made it close. The second place we kind of expected him to end up in. And Epos will stay undefeated so far in British and Irish Pro League Div 1, setting up a potential undefeated match in Week 5 with Bosbez for the win in Div 1.
Whizzy said he just clipped the wall. That was what happened. That's why he had no speed. It must have literally been like a pixel clip and a slowdown.
Have you ever heard the story
pixel
of Ayrton Senna telling his engineers that the wall had moved on a track?
I have heard that. Monaco, wasn't it?
I think it was Monaco, and he came back into the pits and told the engineering team the wall has moved, and that's why the car scraped along it in that turn. And everyone was like, "That's insane!" And then someone went out and checked it, and no, the wall had moved. So clearly, Jorday a victim of moving walls here as well, because you're right, it looked perfect going into it, and ever so slightly wrong. Tough end for the match.
Sorry. Yeah, looked in a great position there to drop Epos some more points. But yeah, that is going to have ramifications at the top of the table. Epos still remains undefeated. And the only other player undefeated... Oh, there's no other player. Yes. No, Bosbez is still undefeated. Sorry, we are
has
still...
a match. Yeah.
Yes. We are watching Boz's match later. Or... Yes,
literally next.
We are. Next.
Yeah, Bosbez versus the Crows versus Hendo versus Kai, which is going to be an absolute banger. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get an interview. We are going to be able to get an interview with Epos at the end of this one as well. Currently hanging out down in the waiting room. And Orion's going to go and check his microphone and make sure that everything is working over there in a second, which is great. I watch and wait for Orion to leave the call, so now I can say really mean things about him because he can't hear me. He's still sitting there beside me, but like, look at him. He doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't know what I'm saying. Oh, Stat. I can't say anything too mean, I guess. Yeah, Stat.
It was actually Ayrton Senna at Dallas that story comes from. I believe Kimmy said something similar about Monaco, but Ayrton Senna at Dallas. The infamous Dallas Grand Prix.
Okay, look, we have Epos here. No more time for talking about it. Hello, Epos. Congratulations. That was a close match. And I have to say, first of all, great win. We were getting a little bit nervous for you when it wrapped back around to Manifest at the end there.
Yeah, so was I. On the consistency factor, he completely battered me on Manifest. I had just too many stupid mistakes. But yeah, I got very, very nervous when I didn't close it out on Clueless. And I feel like I should have, but is what it is. And Whizzy played good.
Yeah, it felt like you kind of dominated the first half of the match. I think with the stat that we had was in the first 13 rounds, you dropped 23 points, which is like...
pretty good.
Insane. Yeah, it was pretty good. Yeah, not bad.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, Whizzy started to, on maps that he previously hadn't looked as good on, started to really kind of challenge you and cause problems. And then that last round, did you see what happens in, by the way? I saw you clip the outside dirt, and he literally then like pixel clipped the wall just before the plastic jump and had like no speed. But we didn't even like see it on stream. It literally looked like he'd like bugged or something like that. But Yeah. Shame for him, but you remain undefeated.
Yeah, somehow. I feel a little fortunate, but I mean, I don't know. Fortune works in my favor, I guess.
What's the classic golfing quote? The more I practice, the luckier I get. I think.
Yeah, exactly. So I put in a total of 2 hours this week into practice, and yeah,
that's got to be worth it's got to be worth some amount of luck for
that's
sure.
Like 50 points of luck, right?
But look, maybe all of your luck came from one very small clip at the end. You didn't get any through the rest of the match, and there it all was in that final round.
Yeah, exactly. Is what I needed, because yeah, he had my number on Clueless for sure. I feel like I kind of had him on the other 2 maps, but he just easily had me on Manifest.
Yeah, he had a bit of a nightmare on Liberty first time round. Did not look, because like you guys were pretty much neck and neck on Clueless and Manifest the first 2 times they were played, and then we got onto Liberty and you just open the gap like crazy. We were even like starting to talk about whether Jorday could come back into the picture and challenge Whizzy, but then he kind of stepped up towards the end of the map and made it close with you again.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a sick match, man. And I don't know, if I want any chance of dealing with a certain human being next week, I just gotta stop the stupid mistakes. I think I clipped the outside of that drift on Manifest twice. I'm going to play him on that. I know his pace is going to be ridiculous on that. And yeah, it's just all these silly, stupid little clips. I need to stop them. And then maybe, who knows, I could take on Bozbez.
I was going to ask how you were feeling about the match for next week. The fact that, I mean, hey, maybe Bozbez will just lose this week, and then it won't be an undefeated match between the two of you in week 5.
Yeah,
feeling
Henderson.
that's likely?
Yeah. Henderson going to take on Boz, easy peasy. Acro's going to take on Boz as well, so that's 2 points away from Boz. Yeah, wishful thinking.
And then you don't even need to beat him. You can just come second next week to him and still win.
Yeah, exactly. A little bit of wishful thinking, but nah. I think Boz strolls through his match if he plays like he did previous weeks.
Yeah.
I was going to say, do you carry any confidence from BIPC, where Boz obviously was the favorite and you came through and took the crown there? Does that kind of still stick with you and stick with him?
I don't carry confidence from that. I carry confidence that I know my practice, even though it was short amounts, went very well this week. And so if I just focus a little bit more, which I think my brain automatically will when I play Boz, I feel like the mistakes I did make won't happen. I feel like my pace is definitely there. But yeah, I just got to stop crashing, because otherwise he's just going to maul me.
Either way, it has been an absolutely fantastic performance so far in BIPL Season 2 Epos. Looking for, at the very least, a top 2 finish, hopefully, with the performance in Week 5 yet to come. Anything else you want to add before we let you go for the evening?
Not anything in particular, I'll be honest. Look out
prediction on our next match.
Oh.
Yeah, I will. It's tricky because it depends on Hendo's mental. If Hendo is mentally stable tonight, then I think he will go and deal with Acros. If he is not mentally stable, I think Acros will get second. But I think Boz definitely gets first.
Yeah, well, fair enough. Thank you very much, Epos, for joining us on that one. And thank you very much for a very exciting match that ran long enough that I don't even think we're going to throw to a break around, because we're very close to this next match starting already. We are diving directly into our final match of the evening, sticking with the Div 1 action. And you've heard it already. It is going to be Bozbez, Akros, Hendo, and Kai taking it on. And there's very few of those names that I can mess up in a way that'll get clipped and pinned to the general chat.
Dear. Did you catch that, by the way, Epos?
I'll be honest, my brain went off. What happened?
Listen, no, it's fine. No, don't worry.
Just go look at the clips.
You don't need to. There's nothing pinned in BIPL General in Discord anymore that you need to see.
Okay, I will make sure I don't click anything in BIPL General.
Appreciate it. It's much appreciated. We're joining this lobby now, so I will say thank you and goodbye to Epos on this one.
Bye-bye.
And hopefully we get to see you after our match next week. Just beat Bozbez and we'll chat to you again.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm happy to come on and chat even if he beats me.
Well, that's very nice of you, but we don't want you then if that's the case. So,
Wow. Okay, then I'll beat him. I'll make you listen to me.
All right, thank you. Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I'm just trying to light that fire underneath you.
Of course. All right, take care, boys.
Okay. Goodbye,
ya.
Epos.